Okay, start now.
Okay. Greetings to all presenters, participants, and guests at A4 session. Our session will start shortly. We are here to assist any technical difficulties or control presentation of slides during your turns.
No sound, Sarah. I think
Sorry.
it's a technical problem with your
I think my laptop, there's a lagging in with the audio. I'm sorry.
Sarah, do we have to wait for other participant? Yes, we have the presenters here, but how about the
Uh,
participant?
yeah. Other participants, I think, if they want to listen to the presentation, they can enter this breakout room lah.
So we shall start now without waiting for the participant.
Yes, doctor.
Okay, so have you finished your introduction?
Yes.
Okay. So okay, let's start ya. Assalamualaikum and good morning to all. Welcome to A4. I think this is the individual session of the 13 International Malaysian Studies Conference, MSC13, via Zoom online. Okay, I'm Associate Professor Dr. Norma Mustafa from UKM, and I'll be chairing this session, which will run from 9 to until 10:15 a.m. Okay, initially we have uh, 4 papers with interesting topics to share. But unfortunately, due to some problems, the fourth presenter from UMS, University Malaysia Sabah, will not with us today. Okay, so we have 3 presenters with us. The first one is Dr. Nur Suzila Suhaimi, Siti Al-Walia Manso, and Fikriah Abdullah from University Utara Malaysia with the title Exploring Sustainable Urban Human Settlement. And the second presenter will be Nur Anis Amalina Amir Hamzah from UKM with the title Merealisasikan Konsep Perpaduan Kefahaman Terkini untuk Meningkatkan Tahap Perpaduan dalam Komuniti. And the last presenter will be Miki Kashiwa from Kyoto University with the title Identity Formation of Minorities Living Among the National Ethnic Categories, the Case of Peranakan Indians. Okay, every speaker will be given 15 minutes, okay? So each of you will be given 15 minutes for your presentation and followed by question and answer at the end of all presentation. Okay, so is that okay? All right. So without any further ado, let's welcome our first presenter, Dr. Nur Suzila Suhaimi, Siti Al-Walia Manso, and Fikriah Abdullah from UUM. So, Doctor, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. The secretariat will share my slide.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. My name is Nur Suzila Suhaimi, and I have another 2 co-authors, Dr. Siti Alwia and Dr. Fikriah. We are from different school. Okay, next slide. So today my presentation is about the exploring sustainable urban human settlement. And this is my contents of presentation. We go to the introduction, methodology, result, and conclusion. Okay, next.
Sarah, can you make it bigger, the slide? Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. So basically this most of us actually come from the village, yeah. However, this has a change due to the urbanizations from rural to urban area. If we can look at the graph, okay, this line graph, show that the projection of the global population living in urban and rural area, where the number of people living in urban area gradually increase. If we can see in the at the red line here, yeah, and the number of people living in urban gradually increase compared to the rural who living in the rural area. You can see here the trend in rural area is become reduced and static into starting 2000 year 2000. Okay, and then the map here, okay, we can see that about more than 80% of the population live in metropolitan region. In the majority of the high income nation such as Western country, Western Europe, USA, Australia, Japan, and Middle East. You can see in the green, the dark green color. And then between 50 to 80% of the population live in the majority of upper middle income nation. Because this one is I just want to show the trend, the process of urbanization and the migration process. Okay, next. Okay, this is my our research methodology. We have two research objectives. First is to explore the relationship of human settlement on sustainable development goal indicator, and number two, to explore the strategy to design a sustainable urban human settlement. And basically our research here is a qualitative approach. We did a library research method, meaning that we do the desktop research and get data from the secondary data. So like journal, report, article that related to the studies. For the analysis, we apply content analysis and thematic analysis. So because we did what you call the secondary data, we only use the secondary data without involves others interview or survey. Because this research is only about less than 6 months. So because of the time constraint, we only did the desktop studies. Okay, next. Okay, so for the research question number 1, we found that they have 4 relationship, okay, of the human settlement and on the sustainable development goal indicator. First is about the adequate and affordable housing. So we found that adequate and housing affordability, which prevent family from the having to choose between housing and others essential. All right, and then for example, if we have to adequate and affordable housing, actually we can reduce the risk of economy, society, health, and environment aspect. Okay, and another example, if households spend more than 30% of their income, actually they might have a problem to meeting others' household needs. For example, they might experience difficulty in to get the food and beverage needs, education needs, and health care. So that's the way how we connect the relationship between adequate and housing and the SDG. Because in this one, we approach for the SDG, goal 1, no poverty. Okay. And then the second is about the human and community well-being. Okay, this one is about the this aspect actually is very close relationship between housing and the mental health. For example, unaffordable housing can have a negative impact to people, physically, emotional, and quality of life. And another example, beside the affordability, it's about the housing design. Yeah, some studies show that that high-rise housing are risky for the psychological health of mother of young children, because kalau kita tengok in Malaysia context, ya, during COVID-19 MCO, most of the developer actually in high-rise housing affected due to house size and house design and lack of the greenery element. Because my current study prove that rumah yang kecil, rumah flat, is about 700 square feet tu, dalam keadaan MCO masa tu, semua orang kan duduk, everybody kan duduk dalam rumah serentak. So during that time banyak berlaku dari segi psychological dan mental health di situ, effect di situ. So yang ini kita relate dengan goal 11 SDG. And then next is about the environmental infrastructure. Actually, infrastructure support must take into account economy, social, environment, and technology concerns. And a key factor in determining whether a city or properties are sustainable in the present of the effective green infrastructure. Sorry, the next is about the sustainable land use planning. Okay, this one, the land use planning actually is a mechanism as a development plan and a development control. For example, the land use planning as a tool in figuring out the current and the future needs for the housing, formulating housing policy, allocating the amount of land and suitable location for the housing development. The next, please. Next slide. Okay. This one is the land use planning system framework, as I explained just now. Okay, maybe next slide. Okay, this for our second research objective, to explore the strategy to design sustainable urban human settlement. So basically, based on our finding, we found that to achieve the sustainable urban human settlement, first we must have the integrated green infrastructure. As I said just now, must include how many percent for the green infrastructure. Okay, and second is about to promote walkability and accessibility, and third to use sustainable building material and practice. Next. Okay, next slide. For example, a city with a good pedestrian infrastructure actually encourage cycling, public transport, are able to decrease carbon emission and support a healthier way of living. For example, in Singapore, the already applied okay, this one is a example how we can integrated the green or what you call the most sustainable element in the house. Okay, for example, solar storage. Actually, solar storage not only it's not new. It's not new. But it's because of expensive. So tak ramai orang yang nak gunakan solar ni lah. Alright. And second is about the water waste apa dia panggil rainwater harvesting system. Kalau di Singapore memang dah gunalah di rumah public housing mereka, yang mana mereka menggunakan rainwater harvesting ni daripada high rise building kan, untuk bersihkan kawasan di sekitar. Dan ini pun bukan satu baru yang baru, tapi in our country tak ramai, tak banyak yang apply teknologi inilah. Okay, next. Okay, this one is the conclusion. Okay, maybe I not read. I need not need to read this conclusion, but I can say that sustainable urban human settlement involve examining the developing strategy to create livable and inclusive, environmentally friendly cities. Okay, means that we have to integrated between the green element, okay, the friendly pedestrian, for example, and then the policy that support to our objective. And another that apply the mixed use neighborhood. We actually we already have the mixed use neighborhood. Okay, they have a TOD, transit oriented development, green element, but normally this concept selalunya akan menjadikan rumah itu mahal. Itu kita punya limitation ataupun challenge to develop this concept. Okay. Alright, that's all my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Suzy. I think we move to the second presenter, Nur Anis Amalina Amir Hamzah, with the title merealisasikan konsep perpaduan kefahaman terkini untuk meningkatkan tahap perpaduan dalam komuniti. Sarah, share the slide.